Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, we are going to be trying to predict what Ian Foster is going to be doing for his starting lineup up against Tonga. I have got a special guest with me. I have got none other than Rugbyitch. Welcome into the channel, mate. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah. All good, all good.
Right, so we are going to be trying to predict. Now, we will mention this isn't what we are thinking the lineup is going to be. We're trying to get into the mindset of Ian Foster. It's quite tricky to do, but I feel like there is something missing, if I'm not wrong. So I will quickly just do right. So, had to channel the inner Ian Foster.
Ooh.
Found him. I'm at the press conference at the moment. I'm thinking about the team selection. All right? 3 Barretts. 4 Barretts. Is there another one? We'll get him in there too.
There must be 5. There must be 5 here.
We'll do 5. But, right. So, Ian Foster. Who is he going to be selecting for the All Blacks? That's a big question. Got to ask the man. Don't we? I'll put him on a stick. I feel like this is going to become a prop for the channel, but at this stage, we will start with the number 1 jersey. Who are you giving it to?
I think Ian Foster will select KARL as his number 1 option for the number 1 spot. So yeah, I think that's what he's going to go with. I just think he's been, very crucial towards the Blues and their success within the recent competition. And yeah, for that reason, I've gone with him as my starting number 1.
And I will ask for the number 2 and number 3 as well. We will close out the front row.
Of course, yeah. For the number 2, I've gone with CODIE Taylor. I just think he's been in the best form really for the Crusaders, the best form of his life really, particularly for the Super Ultra Rare. But yeah, for the number 3, of course, I have gone with NEPO LAULALA as my number 3 option. Again, similar to KARL TONGA, he's been brilliant for the Blues. That's really just transformed that front row.
Right, so Ian Foster, number 4. We have discussed this beforehand, and I slightly mentioned it before. This man loves a Barrett brother, doesn't he? So who have you got at number 4? I feel like we've given it away here, but
it has to be the one and only Scott Barrett. It just has to be him. He's no other guy.
Now we will mention here, this is not what we think. We actually did our lineup that we were thinking about on Rugbyitch's channel, but just for Ian Foster, we feel like he might go back to that Barrett brother, even though in the past he has given away a few penalties, a few maybe crucial mistakes at times, but I think he will just stick with them because of the fact that overall he has picked him quite a bit and he has been, I guess you'd say he has been consistent. It's just the fact that those penalties creeping in as well have just been influencing the decision a little bit.
Yeah, couldn't agree more really with Scott Barrett. I mean, he's just one of those players, like you said, he has a lot of chemistry already with, obviously the captain with WHITELOCK. So it's one of those where it just makes more sense when you're looking at the other locks that they could have gone with. And like you said, he loves a Barrett. So yeah, I think for that position, he's going to have to go with Scott Barrett.
Right. So now we move to loose forwards. Now we did mention before we filmed this that we were going to go with Shannon Frizzell at 6, but he is still going to be injured for possibly the first couple games. And for this selection, we are just doing for the game against Tonga. So we have decided instead for the loose forward trio, we have gone with AKIRA IOANE at 6. Then we have moved ARDIE SAVEA back to 7. And then also HOSKINS SOTUTU at number 8. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. SAVEA, we feel he might become 7 this season because of Sam Cane's injury. Perhaps he gets to fill in that role quite nicely.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. With that Sam Cane injury, of course, very unfortunate in the sense where he's not able to captain the side, you could say, within this series. But yeah, like you said, I think ARDIE slots in very nicely within that 7 spot. And of course, that opens up the possibility of Hoskins playing at 8. So yeah, I couldn't wish for more, really. And of course, with AKIRA, like we said before, we originally were going with Shannon Frizzell, but due to his injury concerns recently, we've actually selected AKIRA IOANE. And of course, he's been in very good form for the Blues as well. So who better to select within that 6th position than AKIRA?
I've just had the realization. I put Ian Foster on a stick, and now I'm actually just wearing a suit. That I feel like I'm extremely overdressed for this occasion.
Yeah, put the thing there and be like, that's how. Yeah, it looks just perfect. It looks perfect. Looks perfect.
Nice. And the background as well. I am currently at the press conference. Believe it or not, that shoulder is Sam Whitelock's. So I have been chatting with the captain, and at this stage, we decided that Aaron Smith is going to be number 9.
Yeah. I think so. Always in that selection. Yeah, it has to be Aaron Smith. It just has to be him. I mean, he's just been sensational within the recent competition, particularly obviously the Highlanders getting into that final. One of the main reasons was because of Aaron Smith's recent form. So yeah, for that reason, I can't argue that anymore. But very happy to see obviously Finley Christie and Brad Weber, of course. Both of them I do feel deserve the selection as well within that halfback spot. So yeah, I totally agree with what they've gone with. But like you said, Aaron Smith really is the number one choice.
Speaking of number one choices, number 10
is the big one. The big one.
Now, both of us in our selections, we went with Mo'unga, but is that what Ian Foster is going to choose for his 10? Is he going to be putting Beauden Barrett straight back into that lineup?
It's going to be interesting. It's one of those, like we said beforehand within my video, where when you look at Mo'unga, he is more of the safer option in the sense when you're selecting him. And of course, his performance has been brilliant as well, particularly within that Reds game where he just showed off, he was just the best fly off in the world at that point of time. But with Beauden, it's just, it's another Barrett to add to the name. And of course, Ian Foster loves his Barrett. So it's tough. Exactly. It's just, you got to put that thing on. But it's one of those where I think with Beauden Barrett, I think it's very similar to Brodie Whitalock in the sense where, they're both coming back obviously from Japan. And they kind of, I don't think they'll put them in the fray immediately. But at the same time, you never know. It is against Tonga, so you just don't know what Ian Foster will have in his mind. But I think we're both in agreement in that, Richard Mo'unga will keep that 10 spot for now.
Now we'll go with the centres next. Now we have gone with Havili and RIEKO IOANE as that pairing, but we've got a slight suspicion that maybe Quinn Tupaea could sneak his way into that number 12 jersey, depending on how things go.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I mean, he's one of those players who I even said a year ago, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, he has a very strong opportunity to get into the All Black squad. I'll be honest, I didn't think it would be this soon. I thought it would maybe be like next year where maybe he would get the odd selection, but I'm so happy to see him obviously selected for this series, and of course against the likes of Tonga and Fiji. I think it's really the perfect opportunity for him because, of course, Tonga and Fiji are massive lads in the sense where they will just power through you every single opportunity they have. So to have someone like Quinn Tupaea on that side is great for him. But yeah, like you said, I think David Havili as well as RIEKO, it just makes a lot more sense just depending on form for both of them, particularly Havili, how he's just been so instrumental towards the Crusaders' success recently. So yeah, just couldn't agree more with our selection there.
I'm looking at the next ones that we have selected, the wings. We went with 11 George Bridge. That was the easy one out of the two.
Again, that's just it's one of those where I think most people will agree in the comments. They haven't gone with the likes of Nareki as well as Riasi. They haven't gone with, maybe you could transition RIEKO maybe within that 11 spot if you have to. But if you're going off realistically the only 11 there, it's George Bridge. And like I always said, he's always a consistent player. He gives you at least a 7 out of 10 performance every time he plays. So yeah, I think for the 11 spot we had to go with George Bridge.
Number 14. Now we actually had two different answers for this one, for who we were gonna be selecting. This is not me. This is Ian, of course. I think he's gonna possibly experiment with Barrett at 14 again, because it was one of those ones. He did it last year for the Tri Nations, and everyone thought, okay, it's just a one match thing. It's just a phase. it's gonna wear off. But then he did it about 2 or 3 more times, and everyone was like, okay, is this actually going to be what he does from now on? So, I don't know, because you had Reese for your one, didn't you?
I originally had Reese as my 14, but I came to realize that, he does love the Barretts, and it is Ian Foster. So it's one of those where, like you said, he has, Barrett has been transitioned within that 14 role as well, and has played a lot actually there for the All Blacks. Of course, I would say he's played at 15. I'd say the most for the All Blacks still. That's probably his main position. But I think for this game, obviously against Tonga, I think he will do a bit of experimenting and go with Jordie at 14. So yeah, it's a tough decision, but I do think that that's maybe something that he will do.
Then we got 15. Now we are missing one Barrett brother at this stage, but we have not got him at fullback. We have got the clutch king Damian McKenzie We think he's going to get an opportunity in that 15 jersey against Tonga, because that's the thing. Up against Fiji the week after, I feel like there could easily be at least 5 changes to that starting lineup / bench. I feel like they're going to be really rotating these guys around, trying to see what the best combination is going to be for the Tri-Nations, or the Rugby Championship, and the Bledisloe that will be coming up only a couple weeks later.
It is just one of those where when you look at Damian McKenzie, you can say Ian Foster for the first time in a while has actually based a lot of the players he selected off form. And for that reason, when you're looking at Jordie Barrett, who we have selected at 14, but if you're going off the best 15 within both competitions, obviously Super Rugby Trans-Tasman and of course Super Rugby Aotearoa, McKenzie he's done brilliantly within both competitions. He obviously got the Chiefs within that, the final for the first one, and for the second, you could say he had some controversy, obviously during that the Reds game, obviously with that decision. But I still think he's obviously the best 15. Of course, he's just so clutch. He's so clutch. It's unbelievable. So I think for that reason, yeah, we had this select him at 15.
Right, so that is the starting lineup. We haven't actually gone with the reserves because we feel like overall there's going to be quite a few probably interesting choices on that bench, and quite a few debuts perhaps could be taking place
for sure
as well for that game against Tonga. But I think that is almost going to be the end of this video. We will mention now, we don't dislike this man very much at all. We've got him on a stick. It is just a little bit of light-hearted fun. Don't hate us too much. But hopefully, do let us know who you think he will go with in the comments as well, and also who you guys would go with for your starting lineup up against Tonga. But I do thank Rugbyitch very much for coming on the channel. If you haven't already, be sure to check his channel out. The link will be in the description. Be sure to head over there and show him some love. But nonetheless, thank you very much for coming, mate. Do appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all in the next one.